Hello students, today in this video we are going to deal with a very interesting topic, that is story writing. Today we are going to cover a story when the outline of the story is given. So you must have heard many stories. One famous book of story is Panchtantra. Very interesting stories are there. So stories are what? Stories are sometimes fables, fictions, and many stories are there. So let's see what a story is and how to develop an interesting story. Let's see. A story is a narration of a set of fictions, events used to convey a moral message. So that is known as story. For writing a story, whenever we have done any writing, so we need a particular format for that, right? So let's see what is the format of the story is. You have to start the story with context. Context is, you must have heard in many stories, once there was, long ago. So that is what, that is context. Next is introduction of the story you have to give. Here in the introduction of the story, you have to introduce the story with the characters. Plot of the story, that where it happens, what happened in the story, and so on. And the last one is climax, right, towards the end. So when we talk about the characters of the story, the characters of the story may be living things, maybe non-living things, or maybe people. It may be animals also. But whatever is a character over there in the story, we used to deal them like the live things. They used to speak, they have some dialogues. So that is what, that is an interesting story. Now when you have to develop a story, so which things you have to keep in mind when you are using an outline of the story, right? Read the outline of the story and understand what the story is about. The very first task for you is to read the outline properly. Next one is develop the outline into complete sentences, right? So there you have to form complete sentences. Next is follow the outline. There you have to take care of one thing, the sequence, whatever is given, the particular incident has happened at some proper time, so that you have to deal at the same time. That is a sequence, series of events. Don't include unnecessary events because that may change your story, right? It may happen that in an examination something is asked and you have created your own events there in that particular outline, and you have left the main points. So that can give you a new story. So that is not needed. Avoid including your own creations there. Write the story in past tense. This you have to follow. Story you have to write in past tense. If the outline is given in present, then also you have to use the story in past tense you have to write down. Then to make your story much interesting, you have to introduce some dialogues in that. It is not that story should be full of dialogues, that is not the concern, but somewhere you have to introduce one or two dialogues, and those dialogues you have to write down in indirect speech, right? So indirect speech you have to take care in. What is that indirect speech? Whatever, like it is he said, commas, inverted commas, and whatever is the thing that you have to write down within commas. And if the sentence is simple, you have to put full stop. It is interrogative, so you have to put an interrogation marks or an exclamation, whatever the kind of the sentence you want to introduce over there. Okay, so one or two dialogue you have to do there. And the very interesting point and very important point is that choose a title, and that when you select a title, that time you have to take care of the characters of the story or the main events of the story, right? And one thing more you have to take care here, that whenever you will write down the title is very important. If title is not there in the story, so you will the marks deduction would be there. So that will come in the format also if you have not given the title. Now when I am saying about the title, so in title you have to take care of the main characters. You may select characters also, like We have heard thirsty crow. So what is that? Crow is the character, and what was the quality of the crow there? It was thirsty, right? And one very important point while writing this title is that you have to write down the characters with the capital letters. It's not all the, like articles, determiners, you can avoid writing with capital, but the first letter of the characters should be in capital letter. So that are the things, the important points which you have to include in the story when you have to write a story, when you have to frame a story using the outlines. Now let's see what an outline is and how to breathe life into that outline. Outline of the story. An ant is weary and thirsty, walks along the river bank, stops to quench thirst. Strong rush of water carries away, drowning the ant. Dove on the tree plucks a leaf, lets it fall, and climbs on the leaf, floats safely to the bank, thanks the dove. A bird catcher under the tree makes a trap to catch the dove and stings his foot. Bird catcher cries in pain, throws the twigs. Noise draws dove's attention. Dove flies away. So this is what we have, this outline. You can just get a screenshot of this and note down in your notebook. Now what we have to work on when we want to give a life to the story, then what we have to do? First we have to see the characters. So characters are an ant, and second character is dove, okay, and the third character is a bird catcher here, whom we can call the hunter, or bird catcher is good here. So what we have to do, we got in when we are talking, when we were reading this outline, we have read the story is about an ant and dove, right? So while giving the title to the story, I've told you earlier, we can use the characters of the story. So what the title we can give here? The title would be An Ant and a Dove. I have told you the first letter of the character you have to write down in capital, and this dove also I have used here D capital, and this is a article here, so I have to leave it as it is, okay. I can use here small letter, and this and is what? Conjunction. So here also there is no need to write down a capital here. Now let's see how to frame the story, right? We have to take all these events, this sequence in mind, and then we have to frame a story. Our word limit may be 120 to 150 words, that you have to keep in mind, okay. So here the story, you can see that is a small one, because only the outline, the figure work is, the framework is given here to you, but we have to give the life here to the story. Now let's see how to do that. A little ant was moving on a grassy stream of a quiet stream. It was a hot day, and the ant had been working very hard collecting food. Now she was thirsty. How clear and cool the water looks, she said to herself. I will lean over carefully and take a little sip. But the ant was very tiny and the stream was so big. It fell into the water and got carried away deeper into the stream. Help, help, how deep the water is. How quickly it moves. My, I will drown. Is there no one who can help me? She shouted. A dove was sitting on a tree near the stream. She heard the ants cry for help. She plucked a leaf from the tree and flew where the ant was. She dropped the leaf near the ant. The ant climbed on the leaf and floated safely back to dry land. Thank you so much, dear dove, for saving my life today. I will never forget what you have done for me. Maybe, just maybe, I will be able to help you someday. A few weeks later, the ant was resting near the tree where the dove had built a nest. There were 3 eggs in the nest. The dove was warming the eggs and sounded very happy. A hunter was passing through the forest. He heard the dove singing happily. He decided to catch her. He began spreading a net. Here's my chance to help my friend, said the ant to herself. I must save her and her babies, who have still not come out of their eggs. Before the hunter could throw the net on the dove's nest, the ant bit him very hard on his foot. Ouch! The man shouted, holding his foot. Ouch! What was that? Hearing his voice, the dove looked up from her nest. She saw the net and immediately flew away. The hunter had not seen the nest. He went away. The ant was very happy. She thought to herself, even a tiny thing like me could help save someone's life. The ant and the dove continued to live happily as